You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
The 2023 NFL season has arrived. It is week one. Our Miami Dolphins start the season this Sunday as they look to make a run to the Super Bowl under Coach McDaniel in his second year. We waited a long time for this. Training camp's over. The preseason's over. There's nothing more to get to now. It's team installs, making sure, all that prep, all that hard work, all the long hours in the gym on the practice field isn't for nothing, basically, when we get underway. But Mr. Charlie Touche, how are you?
Week one, Dolphins, Chargers. Y'all ready?
This
Bro,
guy.
listen. You know what? Before we even go any further, you know who Jimmy Buffett is, Kadeem?
Is that the Margarita singer guy?
Very good, Junior Grasshopper. I didn't think you'll get it. Did you just get it because of, over the past couple of days? What happened?
Yeah, and I saw a clip of Stone Cold and The Rock singing the song on Raw from like years ago. So
see, I knew you couldn't just grab it. I was concerned that you wouldn't catch who Jimmy Buffett is, or was, or however you want to put it. But Jimmy Buffett, bro, he's actually not from Florida, although he's always in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like this adopted singer that Miami just took and made their own. But he's actually from Louisiana. He's a singer. You heard Margaritaville. You know that song?
I know of it.
5 o'clock somewhere. Son of a Sailor, my favorite song. What else we got? When we hit record, the mind go blank. But it's crazy how I could list a few of them before the record button happens. But so he passed away. You know what I'm saying? Dude passed away over the weekend. I remember listening to Jimmy Buffett going fishing, and it's like that's the soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? It's like certain songs, it is the soundtrack for going fishing, and he was one of them. And actually, this is unofficial, but Fins Up. If I had money, I believe that's why Jimmy Buffett is the reason why the Dolphins say Fins Up. He has a song called Fins, and every time you go to the stadium, they play the song. Like every single time you go to a Dolphin game, I guarantee Fins is going to play. And I think Fins Up came from Jimmy Buffett, and they just ran with it. But yeah, man. So he used to go to the Heat games and everything, but dude passed away. Shout out to Jimmy Buffett. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Shout out to Lane in the comments. Lane says, yo, what's up, fellas? Lane is a Patreon member. So again, it's now somewhat mandatory. We will get better at this. If you're not following already, follow on all the social medias. X, which used to be known as Twitter, but we will get around to, probably calling it X. YouTube, like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. It helps YouTube let people know that, hey, this is the channel to go to. This is where it's meant to be at. Comment as well, what your memories of Jimmy Buffett, all that kind of good stuff. Instagram, we're on Instagram, obviously, and we have a Patreon up and running. Time is running out if you want to be part of the Madden 24 giveaway. That's a Patreon only giveaway. So yeah, shout out to IMAX as always. What's up, Kadeem, Charlie, and chat? As Lane says, rest in peace to the great Jimmy Buffett. I know we've got quite a lot of stuff to get through today, but as I kind of said in our condolences, I didn't do it a few weeks ago because, a massive wrestling fan, but rest in peace, Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. So Terry Funk is probably the one you might know of. Like the guy was in his mid-70s, hardcore wrestler, ECW, WCW, WWF, all the good stuff. And then Bray Wyatt. I don't know. You're not the biggest wrestling fan. Do you know what? Time out. Shout out to Charlie Wilson.
Bro, how you gonna send condolences and time out during the condolences to shout out Charlie Wilson? But shout out Charlie Wilson though.
Because Charlie Wilson in the Mirror just dropped his quarterback rankings, and I wanted to get to it. That's why I was like, while I know he's definitely here, Charlie, I'll show you quarterback rankings. Yeah, we will have words.
So the audio listeners, Charlie Wilson just popped up in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Because when we go live, we chat with y'all. So y'all should come check us out on YouTube and chop it up with us. And that's what Kadeem was talking about. But I'll let you finish before we get into the show, Kadeem.
So yeah, very quickly. Do you remember a wrestler called IRS?
Nah, no IRS.
Okay. So yeah, there's a wrestler called IRS. His son, Jimmy Rotunda, I believe. Yeah, Bray Wyatt passed away age of 36 to a heart attack. You know, life is short. So yeah, to anyone famous, non-famous, known, unknown who recently passed away, you know, condolences. It's never nice. Anyone that's going through anything, sickness, you know, health, or poor health, or just having a bad time, you know, we hope you're doing okay and things turn around. As IMAX says, yeah, IRS, Mike Rotunda, and Charlie Wilson says, here we go.
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. It's week 1. We've been waiting for this. Like, I'm so ready to see what happens. Chargers, Dolphins. Kadeem, we got our captains. Oh, Cheeseburger in Paradise, by the way. That's another one. Jimmy Buffett, Cheeseburger. That's like the one I know Son of a Sailor more, but Cheeseburger in Paradise is a classic. But listen, we got the captains, Kadeem, of the 2023 Miami Dolphins. We got Tua Tagovailoa Olipola Tagovailoa. We got Teron Armstead, Tyreek Hill, Christian Wilkins, friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, Xavier Howard, and
Alec Ingold.
If you just, you know what I'm saying, I was going to get there. I was just going to ask him for a couple dollars since he just got that bag. You know what I'm saying? So, Alec Ingold, if you could just, you know, subscribe to the Patreon or something, help us out. You feel me? Like, shout out to Alec Ingold making it as a captain. Kadeem, can you name 3 captains from the 2021 Miami Dolphins? It's 2023. 21. It's 2023. I just want to tell everybody it's 2023. Kadeem, can you name 3 captains from the 2021 Miami Dolphins? That's only 2 seasons ago.
So it's Brian Flores' final season. And genuinely, I couldn't tell you. If I was to make some educated guesses, Ryan Fitzpatrick. No. Was Mike Thomas still around? Michael Thomas, the special teams and DB. He'll be my second guest if he was still in the building.
Give us one more guess.
And my third guess would be, you know what? Where's my manners? Charlie, I need to fix up. One more guess.
More guess.
Would be no rookies, no linebackers.
2021, 3 captains from the Miami Dolphins roster. That's what we're doing right now.
I am going to go with Devontae Parker. I know it's not Devontae Parker. Those are my 3 guesses.
So you got all 3 wrong. You didn't get one right. The captains from the 2021 Miami Dolphins: Mac Hollins, Clayton Fejedelem, Jesse Davis, McCourty. I think it's Jason McCourty, and Landon Roberts.
So it's funny. I was leaning towards Jesse Davis, but I was like, there's no way they made a guy captain. But then it makes a lot of sense they made him a captain. It's weird. I feel like the roster changed so much in that time, and not to, relegate and demean the 2021 roster, but I feel like it's in such a better place right now. I'm not really trying to go back to what that roster looked like, if that makes sense.
And that's exactly why I brought it up. Bro, the roster is so healthy right now. So healthy that when you think about 2021, although we should have made the playoffs, we were one game out of the playoffs. We had a 8-game winning streak and an 8-game losing streak. Is that right? Or was it a 7-game winning streak and a 7-game losing streak? It was crazy. Maybe an 8-game win streak and a 7-game losing streak somewhere in there.
I thought it was a 5-game losing streak and an 8-game win streak.
I don't know. No, I think that was last year. Kadeem?
Actually, I probably touched on about.
Yeah, but anyway.
It seems streaky. Either way, it seems streaky.
Kind of streaky. You feel me? So, regardless, the team is just in a better place right now. That this roster is one of the best in the league, and those were our captains from only 2 seasons ago. So now we're going into 2023, which I think is the year that the Dolphins go to the AFC Championship and say, "Yo, we here, and we're here to make prove Charlie Touche right." And hopefully they do, and maybe we get some hardware this year along the way. I'm gonna give you one more question, Kadeem, and we don't need the music, but do you know who the running backs are for the New Orleans Saints?
Alvin Kamara is still there. I would assume
he's suspended.
Did they just pick up Kenyon Drake?
Nah, they got Jamal Williams. He was the backup in Detroit. He led the league in touchdowns, I think.
Jamal Williams, very, very fun guy. Didn't know. I couldn't even tell you who the running backs are. No, the one thing I need to do before the season starts, they kind of like figure out where some people are and kind of go there, I guess.
Kadeem, there's the 4th running back. Most teams keep 4 running backs on the active roster, actually. The 4th running back for the New Orleans Saints is Kirk Merritt. My former Miami Dolphin, my dog, not Kadeem's dog, Kirk Merritt. The man had a position change. He plays running back now. So this is just a shout out to Kirk Merritt, bro. We still see you. I knew you were going to pan out eventually. I'm just happy you getting the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you need more touches, and we'll snip this off for social media. That was his what he needed to hear. What he don't need to hear is this. Dog look like he on performance enhancing drugs, bro. Dog is juice.
How are you snitching on him like that?
Hey, look.
How are you snitching on a guy like that?
Nah, bro, you gotta see this, dog. Like, hey, we gotta pull this up on the podcast right now, bro. Dog, Kirk Merritt. If y'all remember Kirk Merritt, he was undrafted, came in the Flores regime. He wore number 83 for the Miami Dolphins, and I think he played in one. He might have been dressed for 2 games, but he only played in 1, and he got, I want to say 1 target, 2 targets, 1 drop. I never forget it when he dropped that pass too. He looked like he knew it was over. Like, yo, the only target I get, I drop, and I'm probably never gonna see the field again. I'm sending it to you right now, Kadeem. Incoming, bro. Send it to your phone.
Yeah.
Too late. So. I already sent it, bro. So everybody who could check us out on YouTube, check this out. This is Kirk Merritt, former Miami Dolphin. He was a wide receiver. Actually, when he went to the Saints, GTD social media team shout him out, and he actually liked the post. So shout out to Kirk Merritt. He liked that post when he was he went to New Orleans. Go Time Dolphins, shout him out, and he liked that post. So shout out to him. But this is a picture of what Kirk Merritt looks like right now as Kadeem gets it up. Bruh, The man looks like he is part of the Derrick Henry DNA tree, bro. Like, I don't remember dog being this jacked when he played receiver for us. I'm just saying. And of course, you're gonna hit the weights, you're gonna get in the gym, and they say, hey, we're gonna have a position change. But we want you to play running back. Dog, look at this. Dog is juiced, bro.
It looks like it looks like he's been working out with Aubrey Miller. Like just that. Again, it's like if you're like Madden 24 is out, you can win it with the Go Time Dolphins Patreon. If you build a running back, obviously you want speed and stuff like that, but you want someone who can lean on a man. Kirk Merritt can now lean on a man and go, "Yo, what you got for me
on
today?"
him, bro?
Like, yeah, that's insane,
bro. That's not normal, bro.
Fair play to
that does not look normal. But yeah, all right, back to the podcast. Shout out to Kirk Merritt. Still rock with you here on Go Time Dolphins. Yeah, man. What you want to get into? Kadir? Go ahead.
I'm actually swole. That's an excellent word.
Super swole.
Before we do some fantasy stuff, have you seen the Miami Dolphins Week 1 depth chart?
I have.
I thought we could go through it quickly. I wasn't surprised by any of it because I don't think this is the actual depth chart. I think it's probably very similar to what the Dolphins put out at the start of preseason, and they've probably just taken off the names of guys who are either injured or no longer with the team and just left it at that. So the graphics in a bunch of places. Sorry, I've taken it from the Dolphin UK podcast. Shout out to the Dolphin UK podcast, Lee, Simon, all the good guys over there. If you haven't already, make sure you go like and subscribe to their stuff on Spotify, all the good stuff. And let's make this bigger so people can actually see it if you are joining us on YouTube. If you're on the audio version, I take it by now, it's not going to make it bigger. How are they going to make the stuff on the side bigger, but not the actual photo bigger? This website's crazy. I blame Elon Musk. But at the moment, as big as I can get it, unless I actually save the image. Let's save the image. Makes things so much easier. But as I save the image, what stuck out to you on the depth chart?
Tyreek Hill saying that if he was starting a franchise, he would draft Craycraft 400. That was the first thing that stood out. I'm like, yo, Tyreek Hill said that. And he said it's because he could block so well. So, we let go of Trent Sherfield, and he was the lead blocker as a receiver. And I just imagine that's what Craycraft 400 is going to be doing. But you have Raheem Mostert listed as RB1, Savon Ahmed as RB2, Devon Achane, then Chris Brooks. We know Jeff Wilson Jr. is on IR. So I don't even know what Savon Ahmed health is like right now because he had a neck injury in the last preseason game. So I think we're going to see Mostert, Achane, and Brooks week 1. I honestly think that's who's going to be dressed. If Ahmed is dressed, I think that's going to be a surprise to me. But friend of the podcast, Brandon Jones has been cleared. We're going to see him week 1. Devon Achane has been cleared. We're going to see him week 1 unless they have a healthy scratch. But he's been cleared from his injury. There's no injury designation on Achane or friend of the podcast, Brandon Jones. So you got some? You surprised by something?
I'm not surprised, but the biggest talking point is Lee Meichenberg at left guard being named the current starter. I think people believe that Isaiah Wynn's showings in the preseason would have him start at left guard. At the moment, it's Lee Meichenberg. I wouldn't be surprised if Wynn is the starter come Sunday. So Sunday against the Chargers. I'm not losing my mind over this simply because it's ever changing. And the last thing Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins are going to do is say to the Chargers, hey, these are our starters. You can now plan for these guys. I just don't think they're going to do that. The other one which people are talking about is Lester Cotton at the backup center. And I think Lester Cotton was like, prior to this season, I've never played center in my life. Like, this is just completely new to me. So shout out to our boy Alama Uluwave. Keep grinding, keep working hard. We firmly believe that, you know, your time will come as a Miami Dolphin at center. So yeah, outside of that, and I guess the news that did happen this week, two bits of news. One, Robbie Chosen has returned to the Miami Dolphins. He's on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
Two, Mike White is QB2. He is the backup quarterback. And
Bum bum.
people are finding a lot of joy in all those who predicted Skylar Thompson would win the QB1 battle, and now he's QB3. And your face is always like, let's be serious. So yeah, outside of that, it's very expected, you know. Teron Armstead, the current starter. We'll talk about Teron Armstead in No Huddle on Thursday/Friday. Whenever you get your preview episode, maybe get it on Saturday, maybe Sunday morning, however you choose to listen to Go Time Dolphins. But yeah, no, pretty much as you would expect, I guess.
I think there's something worthy to note. Like you did, I wanted to bring up Chosen Anderson did get added to the practice squad, but it's something else. Speaking of the backup center, I think this was kind of like a tactic where maybe they feel like Lester Cotton is a worthy enough guard, and Liam Eichenberg is a good guard, and they just feel like Uluwave is so under the radar that we could afford to put him on the practice squad, and if something happens, then we just promote him to center like straight like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's one of the tactics, and trying to maximize your roster where, you know, Lester might be a better guard and Eichenberg and win our guards, and you just run with it like that. And no one purges Uluwave from the practice squad. It's a possibility, but I just can't see Kadeem. I can't see if something happens to Connor Williams, Lester Cotton is our center. I can't see that, bro. Like, and in all honesty, I just can't see that happening. Nor Liam Eichenberg. You know what I'm saying? So I guess you put Wynn at guard and then Eichenberg at center, but I just don't see that happening either. But that's all I got with the roster.
Yeah, same. As we bring that back up. Again, shout out to IMAX, always in the comments, always chatting. We appreciate you. We love you for it. He says, please do, because Chris Brooks is $400 on DraftKings and could be part of a money-willing LU. Charlie, what's an LU?
Lineup.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I don't do fantasy. To say, I don't do fantasy. Like,
it's all right, champ. Yeah. I can't call you champ. You know what I'm saying? But it's
I've won a fantasy league. That's one thing I have done. And IMAX then goes on to say, Voto Grinder starting LU lineup has Ahmed and A-Chain flipped. So yeah, shout out to that as well. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else to get into prior to fantasy. And I feel like a good place to start, even though he's not a Miami Dolphin, is Travis Kelce. So Travis Kelce is a doubt for Thursday night's opener. He hyperextended his knee. His ACL is intact, but yeah, it's a doubt. And if you're a fantasy football player, the last thing you want to see, essentially 2 days before the season kicks off, is probably everyone's tight end one a doubt. So we haven't discussed this. I don't know if we're doing Miami Dolphins fantasy or fantasy in general. Shout out to the Go Time Dolphins Fantasy League, which drafted on Sunday. I guess now would be a good time to hear how your draft went, Charlie, and I guess your fantasy takeover.
So Travis Kelce is significant because he plays for the Chiefs. And every single game for every single AFC team is of significance because of how deep the conference is. So I wanted to say this game, week 1, the first game of the season, has playoff implications on it. Like I really wanted to say that, but my mouth wouldn't allow me to say it because it's week 1. But in reality, this couldn't decide the wild card team. You know what I'm saying? Mess around and the Dolphins and the Chargers go 10 or 9-8, I guess. Yeah, 9-8, and one gets in. This could be the wild card game or the wild card team, right? Whoever wins this game. We hope it doesn't come down to that, but that's a reality. The Chiefs, in my opinion, were already taking a step back this year. And when I mean a step back for the Chiefs, I'm not talking about going 8-9. I'm talking about the Chiefs winning 2 less games, maybe 3 less games. So they're still contending for the number 1 seed of the AFC. But when you have an injured Travis Kelce and you're running your receiving core, yeah, you got Patrick Mahomes. I hate to say this and sound like just to take a risk being the guy who's going to get clipped on the internet like this guy said the Chiefs were no longer, right? But I'm not saying that. But it's a reality. Like, yeah, you do have Patrick Mahomes, but his blankie is Travis Kelce. So mess around, Travis Kelce misses a week or 2. Yo, you got a hungry Detroit Lions team who can be a sneaky underdog in week 1. So tune in to the easy money on Patreon for that, because easy money on the podcast is all about the Dolphins, but easy money on the Patreon, we're gonna try to make us some money. You feel me? So yeah, Travis Kelce being hurt, that's significant. And to turn it into a fantasy football conversation, we had our fantasy football draft here on Go Time Dolphins. We appreciate everybody who played this season, who signed up this season. The winner again wins $300 and also a championship ring. The returning champ came back to put his crown up. And I'm gonna be real with you, Kadeem. I was drafting, and it was a Jim Carrey marathon on TBS, and Ace Ventura came on, and The Mask came on, and one of my favorite all-time movies, Dumb and Dumber, came on. I'm like, yo, this is the life. I'm snacking, watching Jim Carrey marathons, and drafting fantasy football, 2 leagues back to back. Life doesn't get no better than this, Kadeem. I thought it was it. And then Josh Kasker of St. Louis Dolphins and Sherrod Steve just messed up my whole fantasy team. Like, there is a thought that, you know what? Back in the day when there were like technology wasn't so advanced and everybody had an iPhone or a phone that was like a laptop, you could just do everything from your phone. People had to like write letters and send invitations via the mail. If this was 20 years ago, Kadeem, well, I guess 30 years ago. But if this was 30 years ago, Kadeem, Josh Katzker and Sherrod Steve's invitation for the next fantasy league next year would get lost in the mail intentionally. I hope y'all boys hear that. Because they have compromised my whole team, and I thought I was straight. So let's go through my team, and I'll tell you what some of these teams look like in the Go Time Dolphins fantasy league looks like. But this is what my team looks like. QB1, Deshaun Watson, Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Hunter Henry, Stephon Diggs, Patriots defense, and Carlson, the kicker from the Raiders. That's how I ended up. That's what I ended up with. But I drafted DJ Moore and Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson was actually my first pick. And I want to get the team name right because it's such a good team name. I traded with shout out to Lucas. We appreciate your support here on Go Time Dolphins. I traded with Lucas, and his team name is What'll We Do Now. I love it. I love it. If we were giving out prizes for the best team name, What'll We Do Now is the best team name in the league, in my opinion. So I traded Bijan Robinson and DJ Moore for Stephon Diggs and Zay Flowers. I thought I was pretty good at running back. I like where I was, kind of. I really wanted to go receiver. I wanted to go zero RB. And what zero RB is for all the fantasy football players that might be on the fence, like what I'm not really familiar with fantasy football talk. Kadeem says he won a league, but he didn't know what a lineup was, so I don't know how much I can trust Kadeem. Let me educate you a little bit. Zero RB is when you don't select a running back for about 4 rounds. So your first 3 picks or first 4 picks are other positions outside of running back. That's zero RB. So yes, you eventually draft a running back, but predominantly your team, your first 4 or 5 picks were positions outside of running back. So I wanted to go zero RB, and lo and behold, Bijan Robinson falls to me, and I get to go Bijan and Saquon back to back. And I'm not gonna lie, I was not ready for this. I'm like, yo, I didn't know that I could get this team set up like that. So I took it. I liked it. I like, yo, I'm actually comfortable with this. I'm okay with it. But let me see what I can finagle, right? While we're drafting, here goes Josh Kasker. Takes Jamar Chase first. Amon-Ra St. Brown second. And A.J. Brown third. I'm like, yo, I'm already done with this guy. Shout out to Josh Kasker. I'm already done with him. You know what I'm saying? So Steve sniped me too. I'm not going to go into detail about that. But I went to my team. I'm like, you know what? Let's see what I can shake up. Hollered at what do we do now? I have Calvin Ridley. I have D-Hop. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to go modified zero RB, where I kind of, and there's actually a term for this. It's called hero RB. We have one running back, and then the rest your team built up around them. So me trading Bijan for Diggs was in essence a first round pick for a first round pick. And the league already didn't like it. Matter of fact, Kadeem, I'm already the Chris Grill of the league. Everybody doesn't want to trade with me no more. And they're already saying I got over on the trade. Like, I'm like, yo, I actually didn't get over like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was a pretty fair trade. I think someone said I stole this trade. I'm like, yo, I disagree. I feel like I won the trade. I don't think I stole the trade. So, you have your first round pick. We swapped first round picks in essence. And I gave him DJ Moore. And DJ Moore was drafted maybe 5 rounds ahead of Zay Flowers. So I could see how he would want that trade, but I don't see how people say I stole that trade. So I'm happy with the way my team is set up right now. Again, next season, we're going to have a Patreon league, and everybody get in the league on the Patreon league, and we're going to have some surprises coming up next season. But rock with us on Patreon. Kadeem, I got a question for you, though. If we're talking about Miami Dolphin players, who do you think the Miami Dolphin players are that will have an immediate fantasy football impact?
I think it's hard to look past Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and QB1 Tua Tagovailoa. And I think for different reasons, I think Tyreek Hill has shown that no matter where he is, who's throwing to him, he's going to put up numbers. You can't not have Tyreek Hill in your lineup. Jalen Waddle in his rookie year broke the NFL rookie reception record, and then last year kind of went from being used as a underneath guy to really stretching the field and really looking like what people thought we were going to get when we drafted him from Alabama. So I think that's why you probably get Jalen Waddle. He's again, both Hill and Waddle, you have wide receivers who can take any play to the house. That speed is unguardable at times, most of the time, and they're going to pick up large chunks of yards and hopefully touchdowns. And then Tua showed last year that when he was healthy and playing, he was, I think, hard to argue, he was in the MVP race. And when you have the weapons of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, not to mention the Mike McDaniel offense, I would assume that people would want to pick him up because, again, he's going to get a lot of points. Hopefully back up the yards, back up the touchdowns. But I also understand that people believe that because of last season's injuries, you might not draft him too early. It might not be one of the first 5 to 10 quarterbacks that are drafted in a league, depending on how many teams are in it. So, yeah, it will be those three: Waddle, Hill, and Tua. And before I pass it back over to you to find out if I'm right or not, shout out to Talaware TV. We said we'd wear our Jamaica-inspired jerseys on the last episode. We didn't. We said we'd wear it on Monday's episode, but due to Labor Day, we didn't record. Hope everyone had a great Labor Day. We are men of our words. I'm wearing the official Jamaica national shirt, and Charlie is wearing the Ajax Three Little Birds shirt. And I know myself and Talaware TV had a long conversation when the Jamaica shirt came out. And I think it's fair to say that of the two shirts, one looks like a Jamaica shirt and one looks like just a random Adidas football shirt. If you're not watching on YouTube, I implore you to fast forward to, I'm going to assume, about 36 minutes. No, I'm going to say 36 minutes. 38 minutes. 38 minutes, about 50 seconds, and you will see I'm stupid. Fast forward to at any point in the episode, because the t-shirts have not come off and have been on the entire time. I was gonna say fast forward to like 38 minutes because we talk about it. We have not to put these shirts on. So yeah, you can see our
they
t-shirts
haven't come off the entire time.
The Ajax shirt has the Jamaica flag colors. The Jamaica shirt, it's just like a dark. It's still good, but Jamaica should have gone with the Ajax shirt.
I think the Ajax jersey has the roster colors in it too, and that's why people kind of rock with it a little. I don't want to say a little more, but it's a lot going on with this Ajax jersey for real, for real. Three little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody pure and true, singing. This is my message to you. Hey,
Rankin and Charlie Wilson, who says that Charlie's Ajax shirt is fire. So Charlie, was I right in my 3 Miami Dolphins fantasy players?
3 little birds. Yeah. So my formula going 0 RB encompassed Tyreek Hill being my centerpiece. And once Cooper Kupp got injured and Jonathan Taylor was removed from the first round because of his, I don't want to say antics, but because of what's going on with his contract, I knew I was not going to be able to get Tyreek Hill. And I wanted Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is on record saying he wants to put up 2,000 yards receiving. And I just got to say this. Every receiver, whoever said that, obviously was unsuccessful. But one can make the argument that Tua missed 4.5 games last season, and Tyreek Hill still put up 1,700 yards receiving. It's not far-fetched, bro. So I bought in all on that Tyreek Hill. I want to get 2,000 yards, right? Because in my opinion, Tyreek Hill could probably get 2,000 yards, and Jalen Waddle could probably get like 1,400 at the same time. And it's going to be somehow, some way, people still don't give Tua the credit for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll be, oh, well, look at his receiver somehow. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And Stephen A. Smith, quick to say, well, all you got to do is dump the ball off to Tyreek Hill and let him do the rest. But that's not what we do. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, you absolutely, in my opinion, and I'm not going to lie to you, by design, this is kind of why we had the fantasy football episode this late into the season, so no one could snipe my picks. You know what I'm saying? I could go into all my drafts and be happy. But in my opinion, if I am drafting anywhere in the first round, like, matter of fact, anybody that's not drafting first, I'm taking Tyreek Hill. If I'm in the second position, I'm taking Tyreek Hill. If I'm drafting third, I'm taking Tyreek Hill. Outside of Justin Jefferson, I'm taking Tyreek Hill. And if someone said, yo, I'm taking Tyreek Hill first, I would not be mad at them. And I'm going to tell you why. And now I understand, like, oh, you're a Dolphin fan and you're talking irrational. Like, no, I'm going to tell you why. it's a contract year for Justin Jefferson. Lately, and this is not lately, but yeah, more recently, we've seen players like, oh, Lamar Jackson, I'm not coming back. I'm not rushing back. I tweaked my hamstring. I have no reason to come back too fast. So if Justin Jefferson is drafted first in the fantasy football draft and hurts his hamstring in week 2 and decides, oh, I didn't get no contract, I'm going to take my time and come back healthy. Unless you hear Justin Jefferson get the bag between now and Sunday, I'm a little apprehensive. Not too much. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of contract years. Derrick Henry's on the contract year. We've seen Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard. But one, like Tony, you never heard anything coming out of the Tony Pollard camp. You never heard of anything coming out of the Derrick Henry camp. But we have heard out of Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is another candidate, in my opinion, where if you draft him and he tweaks something, he can be like, I'm not rushing back. I'm on a free franchise tag. I'm not rushing back. I'm gonna sit out an extra 2 weeks, make sure I'm healthy before I come back. We just seen Lamar Jackson do that. So anybody on a contract year that we know is disgruntled, I'm trying to stay away from that. I'm not even lying to you. And fantasy football 101, just win the week. You gotta win the week. And I understand everybody has different strategies. And I'm gonna save this player for later. And this player got hurt. He's out for 4 weeks. Well, let me put him on the bench. I'm like, yo, if your team is not set up to sustain that, and you already have 4 losses, let's say you're 3-4, and there's only 13 weeks in the fantasy football league, and you're holding on to a player that's out for 4 weeks and you have 4 losses already, you need to start thinking about moving some pieces so you could win immediately. So you have to win the week before you could win the season. And that's my little bit of fantasy football strategy. But yeah, man, I do think Tyreek Hill is fantasy football gold this year. The great thing about Waddle being on the same team as Tyreek Hill, you don't have too many players in fantasy football where it's like, you know what? I hate having 2 players from the same team. It doesn't feel right. But you do have Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. You have T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. And obviously you have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Every other receiving core outside of those 3, I don't like pairing up the same receivers on the same team. I don't do that. But the good thing about the Dolphins, God forbid one receiver goes down, you know the other one's going to eat. You see what I'm saying? So Tyreek Hill's going to eat regardless. Jalen Waddle's going to eat as long as Tua is healthy. Tyreek Hill ate when Tua wasn't healthy, but Waddle, it affected Waddle more when Tua went down. So you are super safe drafting Dolphin receivers. I'm all the way in on drafting Dolphin receivers, and I think the ESPN format says the same thing. I think Waddle is the highest second wide receiver 2 in fantasy football. So he's still going in the top 3 rounds or top two rounds. Top 2.5, depending on the size of your league. So yeah. What I will also say, Kaneem, and I didn't talk about Tua, but before I get to Tua, what I will also say is the running backs. Once Jeff Wilson Jr. went down, Raheem Mostert value skyrocketed. Raheem Mostert was ranked like 115th, 125 or something like that. Now he's ranked, can't remember where he's ranked, sorry. But he has a whole lot more value now. And I understand that A-Chain is there. I understand Brooks is there. I understand Ahmed is there. But let's be realistic. If Raheem Mostert is healthy, I don't believe A-Chain, Ahmed, or Chris Brooks eats into too much of his fantasy football output. Here's why. The Dolphins just don't use rookies the way other teams use rookies. Waddle was the exception. He's an exceptional player. A-Chain is an exceptional player. However, he got hurt the last preseason game. Chris Brooks is a lot bigger, looks to be a little more durable than Devon A-Chain. And if you don't have to use A-Chain that much, you don't have to use them that much. If you're a Miami Dolphin, we're not talking about fantasy football right now. We're talking about real life. So you're gonna have Ahmed eat into some of A-Chain's touches. You're gonna have Chris Brooks eat into some of A-Chain's touches, but the bell cow in quotations will be Raheem Mostert. So everybody else, until Jeff Wilson Jr. gets back, I don't expect them to take away from Raheem Mostert. And honestly, in all of the drafts that I'm in, I actually got Raheem Mostert, and I targeted him because I knew, there's going to be pretty good matchups for Raheem Mostert, and I wanted to have that on my bench.
Fair play. Oh, yeah, fair play. I've got a few quick fire questions for you, if that's okay.
What we got?
Obviously, most people are probably drafted by now, but if you haven't had your draft yet, or you drafted and there's a few players like, you know what, who, same way you made a trade straight after, who can you trade for? So let's go with 5 offensive players you must have on your team this year. 2023 fantasy football, 5 players, quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, tight end. Which 5 players are you like, you know what, you have to have at least one of these guys on your team?
All right. So Tyreek Hill is one of them. And I understand if you can't get Tyreek Hill, if you draft in the back of your draft, you're probably not going to get him. But some people want to go running back. Some people have a running back ideology. Some people want to go wide receiver. I'd rather go wide receiver. I got to have Tyreek Hill on my team. I have to have DeAndre Hopkins, and here's why. Hopkins is getting long in the tooth, but he is proven to be quarterback proof. Not only is he quarterback proof, he has incentives in his contract to where if he reaches certain numbers, he gets paid more. And this is why that is significant. When he went to Tennessee was like, yo, we kind of need you. We lost A.J. Brown. We only have Derrick Henry. We're tired of running in stacked boxes, and you're quarterback proof. Tannehill's going to get you the ball. Tannehill got A.J. Brown the ball. Tannehill's not a terrible quarterback when it comes to fantasy football as far as getting output to your receivers. That being said, I can almost bet everything I have in this house that says Hopkins was like, yo, if I come here, I'm only coming here because I'm going to get the touches. I'm only going to get the targets. And I want to reach these incentives. These incentives will not incentivize me if I'm not going to hit them. You see what I'm saying? So I believe it was a gentleman's agreement, bro. We need you here in Tennessee. We're going to make sure you hit these incentives. So that's why I need to have Hopkins in every single one of my my teams. So what up, JML? Yeah, I want to have Hopkins. I want to have Tyreek Hill. Believe it or not, and some people are going to laugh at this because I've hated on this person forever. Miles Sanders. I'm not a Miles Sanders fan, but I like winning fantasy football leagues. Miles Sanders, where he is at cost, he was a part of the who's the coach in Carolina right now? He's the coach in Philly. Frank Wright. He was on the Frank Wright regime in Philadelphia. Frank Wright is now the head coach in Carolina. Last year, they did not use Miles Sanders to catch passes out of the backfield. This year, they absolutely will in Carolina. Different coaching staff. That's how Frank Wright used him before. That's how he's going to use him now. So I kind of want Miles Sanders. And, this is actually kind of bad because I just tried to trade for Miles Sanders. I tried to trade Josh Kasker for Miles Sanders, and now I'm probably not going to get him, but it's okay. So, yeah, Miles Sanders, I want to have. He's a sneaky pick that you can, try to buy low on Miles Sanders, especially if he has a bad week one. If he has a bad week one, go get Miles Sanders and be like, yo, it's Miles Sanders. You don't need Miles Sanders. He's not playing behind that Eagles offensive line no more. Let me get him off of you. And then they might be inclined to give him to you. So, yeah, I want Miles Sanders. I want Hop. I want Tyreek Hill. Someone that I'm grabbing late. It's a sleeper, but I love this dude. Elijah Moore. The Browns traded a second-round pick, I believe, for Elijah Moore. And that's what helped acquire Aaron Rodgers in New York. They traded the Jets. I'm sorry, the paper planes. So Elijah Moore went to the Browns. And if you've seen the Browns last year, what's Cooper name? Amari Cooper for the Browns went off. It had Watson and Amari Cooper. They found the chemistry, but that you got to spread it out. Elijah Moore is gonna eat in the slot in Cleveland, and I got Elijah Moore on both my teams actually too. So I wanted to leave every draft with Elijah Moore, and I believe Elijah Moore is gonna have over 85 receptions this season. I think he's gonna be Will Fuller. Remember Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins? That's what Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore is going to look like in Cleveland. So I wanted to come out with Elijah Moore. I believe they're going to spread it out more in Cleveland, not like they did in Watson's first year. They had Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So they ran the ball a little bit more, probably worked Watson back in. Yo, we don't want you to throw the ball like you. He actually didn't look that good last year. So now he's a whole season removed from that. And now I believe Elijah Moore is going to go off. I think Deshaun Watson's going to go off too. I think Deshaun Watson's also going to run more. I don't have to have Deshaun Watson. How many is that? That's 4?
That's 4, yeah.
One more that I absolutely have to have. And I'll go full circle with this. If you waited on quarterback and you didn't get Justin Fields and you didn't get Josh Allen and you didn't get Joe Burrow and you didn't get Lamar Jackson. So you see what I'm saying? If you didn't get Patrick Mahomes, Tua Tagovailoa Tagovailoa is the pick late because you have value. This man put up 3 touchdowns in a row for like 3 weeks straight. Then the week before that was 2 touchdowns. It's like, look, he's ready. Tua is ripe. We're about to go on this championship run. And the only reason we're going on this championship run is because Tua's going to be healthy. So if you don't believe Tua's going to be healthy, it's going to be a long season for the Dolphins. So it's where do you think we're going here? You know what I'm saying? Like either you think we're going to be successful this year or we're not. And if we're successful this year, it's because Tua is healthy. If we're not successful this year, it's not because Tua played bad. That's just not a thing. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I really want to leave every draft with Tua, although I didn't. I only had 2 drafts, but I ended up with Watson and I ended up with Burrow in the other one. Burrow fell to round 9. He was projected to go in round 4. So yeah, man, shout out to Rob. You pull that up for us, Kadeem?
I'll do it in bonus time.
Oh,
Gotta save something for bonus time, but I've got bonus time. It's all good. It's all good.
You say,
yeah. So Rob says, and shout out to Rob. In a 12-team league, I drafted Tua, CMC, Christian McCaffrey, Najee Harris, Debo Samuel, Jalen Waddle, Pitts.
Probably Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts. Mattison of the Vikings, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Tyler Boyd, Marquise Brown, Zay Flowers, and Everett. So yeah, shout out to Rob. Lane says, I was really hoping to get Tua, but he got taken early in the Go Time League, I think. And Charlie Wilson says, what do you guys think about Miami's defense in fantasy? That's one for you, Charlie.
So since the producer of the show said we gotta wait till bonus time, Charlie, we gotta wait till bonus time. He running us. I guess we running along, and he wanted to get the show moving along.
I said I was waiting for bonus time for that one comment. This question, you can answer it now. It's all good.
Yeah. Hey, so shout out to Flipper Main Mick, the returning champion of the Go Time Dolphins Championship Fantasy Football League. He has Tua and Tyreek Hill stacked on the same team. So he's going to double dip. He's going to get all those points. I love it. Like that's value at its finest. I think he got Tyreek Hill 4th overall maybe, and then got Tua later. Like, bro, that is epic. And I hate that he won last year because making plays like that, it sets you up for success this year. Rob, that's a pretty good team, actually. I like it. As far as defense goes for the Dolphins this year, I like our defense this year. I like Fangio, the Fangio system. I believe I believe Justin Herbert threw 4 picks against Fangio's defense when Fangio was in Denver. They was in the same division. So might bode well for you to, you know what? We're about to get into no huddle. We don't want to get into no huddle. But to answer your question, Charlie Wilson, you want to start the Dolphins defense every single week. Every single week you want to start the Dolphins defense. But what you don't want to do is go out of your way to draft them 4 or 5 rounds earlier. You want to get the value. There's players that you can get instead of reaching on kickers and reaching on defenses. But yeah, man, I like the Dolphins defense this year. I couldn't get them in none of my leagues. You got something before we go, Kadeem?
Again, make sure you're following us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. If you're on any of those social media platforms and you're following us, comment on the posts, on the videos, on the photos. It lets us know that obviously, that we're doing the right thing, that you know, and again, we like engaging with our listeners, our followers, our fans, our friends to do all that. If you're not already, join us over on Patreon, enter yourself into the Madden giveaway. Time is running out to do that. And again, you can see all the tiers over there on Patreon when you do sign up. A whole bunch of gifts and a whole bunch of extra stuff you won't be getting on the show. As you mentioned earlier, the extra easy money segments over on Patreon. But outside of that, thanks to everyone that's here in the comments. We appreciate you if you commented so far. We appreciate you if you're here and you're not part of the live experience. Turn the notifications on so when we are going live, you do know, and it'd be great to have you along with us because you never know when we have a random giveaway and you might win something. So that's it from me on this side of bonus time.
Hey, RIP Jimmy Buffett. I'm about to go to Margaritaville, have a cheeseburger in paradise because it's 5 o'clock somewhere already. But y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
Bro, we gotta make a Dolphin version of that song, bro.
Dude, unless you got me on a hook or you got me on a Boys to Men deep voice bit, then I don't know what I can do apart from be in the video and to do something cool. You notice how the thing was all good?
I don't know that it's all good, but
yes, it's swollen. It's really swollen.
I don't know that. I don't know that you even heard it all.
I can show the photos. But yeah. Shout out to Lane. Says, man, I can't decide on whether to go to a Dolphins game on Sunday or not. I live about an hour from SoFi Stadium, and I don't know if they'll be back soon. I go. I would say go. Be there, rep the team, support the team. Like you said, you don't know when they'll be back there soon. I said it from someone who lives in London, and obviously any chance I get to see the Dolphins, I would take. So if you're an hour from SoFi Stadium, then, go see Tua, Waddle, Hill, and all the guys, tear it up on Sunday night. Rob says go. JMR says that's cold. Charlie, what do you think?
An hour in LA is really like 2 hours. That traffic is wild, bro. Like, listen, if you don't go to the game, I am not judging you because an hour in LA is like an hour, like 2.5 hours, if I'm being real with you. So, nah, man, I'm a believer that it's all about memories. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know people's finances, but if you can afford something, like, it's all about memories, not money. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us, we want to hold on to, I want to do money. I want to have money to do this, this, and this. Again, I'm not in no one's pockets, but at the same time, if you can afford it, man, make the memories. You know what I'm saying? You never know. I'm also a fan of sitting at the goal line. Pick a goal line and just go with it. It's 50-50 that the game happens right there in front of you. You might see history right there in front of you. But that's just me on where to sit in the stadium. But yeah.
So Lane says, I think you might be right, and then says, laughing, ha ha. Honestly, the traffic is the part that makes it not worth it. JML said, Cad gets a broken pinky, and the next thing you know, Charlie's calling him Will Fuller. Listen, I haven't missed an episode. I'm here. I'm just saying. Two things from me on this side of bonus time. I asked you about 5 players you must have in fantasy. What are 5 players you should tell people to avoid? Like, under no circumstances do you pick the player because of, they might have had a good year this year and you think they're going to come down. They might be on a bad team, or it's just they're being overrated. It's not going to be their year this year. Under no circumstances do you draft them. Under no circumstances do you trade for them, and you have them, trade them away because of better value elsewhere.
Buyer beware. Buyer beware. Before we do that, Kadeem, can you pull up the Twitter, the Go Time Dolphins Twitter? Shout out to Jalen Ramsey, Go Time Dolphins social media team. Shout out to Lonray for this graphic. Lonray put together this graphic, and Jalen Ramsey himself liked it. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey for liking Go Time Dolphins social media content. We appreciate you, bro. While Kadeem works on it. So buyer beware. We want to, you know what? Let me think about this for a second. Ooh, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna have to go to the league, see what I got. While you're pulling that up, let's see what I could pull up. Who do I want to stay away from in these leagues? That's a good question, Kadeem. Kadeem stumped me while you're pulling up the image. You got it?
Yeah, I just don't want our DM to be open, so bear me 2 texts.
Oh, hey, we got Jalen Ramsey DMing us. Okay,
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Just saying.
As we pull this up, I'm gonna get Kadeem's answer ready to go too.
Okay, so let's get this up first.
Appreciate y'all rocking with us.
This is the one I want. Yeah. So it says, we see you at Jalen Ramsey. Can't wait to have you back on the field, bro. But take your time on the road back to greatness. This the season. And then hashtags Miami Dolphins, Go Time Fins up, with the graphic artist / designer Lonray made it. And you said that it has a like from a certain someone. So let's have a look at that. Shout out to everyone who's liked it so far. Shout out to Charlie Wilson. Yep, right there, Jalen Ramsey. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey liking the tweet.
Gotta love it. So I got one of our buyer bewares. And this is the most beware when you buy this player. Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp has a hamstring injury. And it was okay about 5 weeks ago when he injured his hamstring the first time. It was, Cooper Kupp came up lame. Cool. He'll be ready for week 1. That was the report. Whatever. And he came back. Oh, yeah, I'm still in on Cooper Kupp. I was actually hoping he fell to me, if I'm being real with you. Then the report came out Thursday, I want to say. Friday, maybe. Saturday. Maybe it was Friday. The report came out. Cooper Kupp has a setback with his hamstring. Kadeem, I didn't have to hear the significance of the second injury. I am out on Cooper Kupp. I did not cue him. I did not put him on my draft board at all. There's no way I'm going to take Cooper Kupp over anybody unless he fell to like the 9th round. and I was choosing between Cooper Kupp and Mike Williams. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even still, I like Mike Williams this year as we play him coming up this season, this week, in week 1. But the reason why I'm out on Cooper Kupp, if Cooper Kupp misses 3 weeks with a hamstring injury, you have drafted Cooper Kupp. Probably a lot of people probably took him in the first round. And if you didn't take him in the first round because you caught wind of it and you had a pretty good league that drafted pretty late, you probably took him in the second or third round. Bro, there's a lot of people you could pick up instead of taking Cooper Kupp in the second or third round. So for me, if Cooper Kupp misses, let's say, there's a chance Cooper Kupp goes on IR. Cooper Kupp goes on IR, misses the first 4 weeks of the season. Matt Stafford is out here limping around without Cooper Kupp, and they go 0-4. Why is Cooper Kupp rushing to come back? They won their championship. They're not in the Super Bowl window. They might be having a fire sale pretty soon, and Cooper Kupp might be getting traded. Aaron Donald might be getting traded. Yo, I'm trying to stay as far away from Cooper Kupp as possible. Kadeem, I will not even buy him with your money. Like, it's not happening. The only thing I would do with Cooper Kupp is trade for him after someone else drafted him that high and said, you know what? Now let's see if I could get a deal out of this where I could trade a couple pieces for Cooper Kupp, and then it works out because I didn't have to pay the premium to get him. So Cooper Kupp, I'm not drafting this dude, not even a little bit. Drake London, I like Drake London, and I know. Shout out to Lane, because I think Lane drafted both of these dudes. But shout out to Lane. Drake London is my dog. I love Drake London. I do not love Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder has Aaron Pitts, Kyle Pitts. I don't know where that came from. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan Robinson. All three of them cannot go off. They can't. And I got Bijan Robinson going off. I actually, and a lot of people ain't going to like this, I think Bijan Robinson is going to be a top 3 running back this year. But then someone's going to say, well, why did you trade him? Like, yo, I traded him because I like the way my team's set up. I got a top 3 running back in Saquon Barkley. I just wanted Stephon Diggs because I believe Stephon Diggs can be wide receiver 1. I think Stephon Diggs had the offseason where they're going to try to force on the ball and probably get his numbers up. So that's why I wanted Stephon Diggs. So I think it's a win-win for me with that Diggs and Bijan trade. But Drake London, I just think I don't know if Desmond Ridder gets it right to where Pitts, London, and Cooper Kupp gets off. But you hit me with this one, Kadeem. You said top 5. I don't know. Let's keep going. Let's see what I can come up with. Darnell Mooney. I'm out on Darnell Mooney. I think DJ Moore is there. Chase Claypool is there. I believe Khalil Herbert gets off more. And then you have Justin Fields going to run a lot too. So Darnell Mooney, out on Darnell Mooney. Lane, I hope you didn't have him too. I don't got your roster in front of me. I just know Lane drafted a couple of them. Let's see. I think there's buyer beware on Kenneth Walker III. 2 Shades 24, Kenneth Walker III. He got hurt earlier, soft tissue injury, and Seattle drafted Zach Charbonnet in the second round. I don't know why you drafting the second round running back if you're going to use me. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to use both of those running backs. Kenneth Walker III is very sexy. You seen what he did. He's very boom or bust, hits the home run. But I just think they don't want, this is not fantasy football in real life. They want to preserve their running backs, split the carries. However, if you drafted Kenneth Walker, don't be alarmed. Zach Charbonnet is nursing an injury as well. So you kind of safe there. Who else? You know what? And I'll sum it up here. I'm out on all the receivers in Seattle. It's not like a buyer beware though, because you got Jackson Smith and Jigba, you got Tyler Lockett, and you got DK Metcalf. Maybe Geno locks on to one person and makes that one person fantasy relevant, but to make all 3 of them fantasy relevant, from Geno Smith, I think that's a tough sell for me. I don't know if he could replicate that season he had last year. So I don't want to take any draft capital for any one of those receivers when I could go safer and get someone who I know is going to be used. Like Hopkins is getting drafted around DK Metcalf. I'd rather have Hop. Jordan Addison is getting drafted around JSN. I'd rather have Jordan Addison. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to come replace Adam Thielen. So yeah, man, that's the five that I'll be careful with. But again, it's fantasy football. It's not like, yo, I'm really out on Cooper Kupp all the way out until I could get him for free. But other than that, you know, it's hit or miss.
Shout out to Lane. He says, I was super skeptical of taking Kupp, but when he falls to the third round, I felt I had to gamble on it. He then adds, you're right, Drake London is a dog, but really scares me.
Hey, hold on. Moya TV, what's up? Hold up. Before we get to Moya's comment. Hey, Lane, bro. I know I kind of dogged all of your receivers, but I'm open for business. You know what I'm saying? Like we can still work out a trade. I got receivers. We could work something out.
Moya TV says, cool, you're mad late. Gonna have to rewind this one. We appreciate you being here, even for a few minutes.
For sure.
We appreciate you going back and rewinding. And, you know, I'm sure your comment, no pressure, but if you like what you see, comment, you know, we can. It's always good to know what we're doing right. If it's like, hey, you guys went too long on this, or you went too short on this, or can you add this for next time? You know, we want to give you the best show possible. So yeah,
for the fans, by the fans,
exactly. And JML says, "Sup, Moya." So yeah, if you made it all this way, you've got fantasy stuff, you know, tips, who to pick up, who to avoid. You know, Charlie's team, you know, Rob's team. Very, very quickly. Do me a favor, everyone. Go on mirror.co.uk, NFL, it might be on American sports. Check out Charlie Wilson's NFL rankings list of this season. Spoiler alert, Tua Tagovailoa is a top 10 quarterback on his list, but I won't say exactly where. So Charlie Wilson mirror quarterback rankings list. We'll retweet it from the Go Time Dolphins account. And yeah, it's, as Lane says, you're all good, Charlie. I'll keep that in mind. Lane, don't get Chris Grid.
Hey, chill, Kadeem, because everybody already on me for grabbing digs. Like, yo, no one wants to work with me no more, bro. I had like 5 trades out there, and only one went through. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Charlie Wilson, we appreciate you, bro. But yeah, Lane, man, holla at me. Step in my office. We can make something work.
He says that now. Anything else from you, Charlie?
That's all I got.
Then we shall see you next time.